Hello and welcome everyone. So this is beginning of new tutorial series. Well, technically it's not going to be series. This is going to be like 3 or 4 videos, I think. And so in this series, what I want to cover is how you can use your game playability system for your inventory and crafting, that kind of stuff inside of blueprints. So for this, I have prepared a new project. This is based upon the third-person template, and I have added this food pack one for our visuals of the ingredients for the inventory that we're going to be using. And over here in C++, I have enabled those gameplayability system plugin and gameplay tags plugin, details of which are covered in the previous series. And I have only included my base character class and base attribute set class, okay, from the previous series. And I have added this inventory attribute set. This is based upon the attribute set class that this was created on, so I'm not going to go into details of this. So what I'm going to do is just cover the basic C++ requirements that are going to be required for this to work, and after that we're going to move inside of our blueprints and cover how we can make our inventory and crafting system using this gameplayability system. Okay, so open up this inventory attribute set. I have already opened it up and navigate to your header file, and I have actually compiled it a little bit earlier because IntelliSense stops working if I don't compile it. So you just need to add this header file just below this ability system component.h. Rest is just blank. And by the way, base attribute set class and base character class are exactly the same from the previous series. When I'm going to change these, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be changing, and we're going to do an explanation of the C++ code in the next video. But for this, just follow along with this. So in the inventory, what I want to do, this is going to hold my the ingredients what I want for my inventory and crafting. So just an example, what I'm going to do is start off by first of all declaring the scope as public, and then I am going to define some of my attributes. So they are going to be U property, and this is going to be edit anywhere and blueprint retry, this one, and category is going to be inventory attribute. Okay, and this is going to be the type f game play attribute data game play attribute data, and this is going to be first one is going to be like apple. So this is my first what you call ingredient or inventory type. Okay, and I'm going to copy this and paste this, and then again it's going to f game play attribute data, and this is going to be orange, and I'm going to copy this again, and last one is going to be pineapple, let's say. Okay, so I should add a comment that these are base ingredients. Okay, and for this example I'm going to be using only 3 of these, and then we have our craftable, even if that's a word, CR craftable items. Okay, these are going to be actually crafted and not acquired directly from the world basically. So over here what I'm going to do is first we are going to have let's say apple pie. You can name this whatever you want, but I'll go with this example. And then we can have fruit cocktail. Okay, now if you remember, in our base attribute set class, what we did was created this x-axis macro to easily define these x-axis for getter and setters value. What I'm going to do is just copy this from here and okay, paste this over here. Okay, and I am going to use this as well. So over here I can say attribute accessor, and this is going to be u base inventory, what is it? U inventory attribute, sorry. Inventory attribute set, and this is going to be called Apple. Now remember, this is the name of the class that you are using it for. So in my case, this is U inventory attribute set over here. So I'm using this class over here. Inside of the base attribute, I have this base attribute set, so I'm using that base attribute set over here. Okay. So I'm going to just copy this portion and then define this one for orange. Okay. This requires a semicolon at the end. I think yes, it requires that. And we add that over here, and last we have for our pineapple. Okay, and similarly for this we have our apple pie. Okay, and we have our for fruit cocktail. Okay, and then finally what we're going to do is override that function for post gameplay effect. Post gameplay effect execute, and this is going to take arguments of, actually let's just copy this so I don't make a spelling mistake over here. Okay, so just copy and paste this, and now I'm going to create an implementation for this, and this is going to be first I'm going to call the super one. It's going to be post gameplay effect execute. It's going to take data, and then I'm going to start clamping these values between 0 and 99, because 99 is the maximum value that I want for these inventory items to be. So it's going to give data dot evaluated data dot attribute, which is equal to my get apple attribute. Okay, so if this is equal to this, I'm going to clamp this. I'm going to set apple. It's going to be fmath, and I'm going to clamp this. This is going to be between get apple first of all, and then I'm going to clamp this between 0 and 99. Okay, now just simply copy this from here, and then I'm going to change this to get orange attribute. Okay, and this is going to set orange, and this is also going to be get orange. Okay, and last one is going to be, actually this is not going to be the last one, I have to do that for the craftable as well. So this is going to be pineapple attribute, and it's going to set pineapple, and it's going to get pineapple. Okay, these are done for my ingredients, base ingredients, and now I'm going to do this for craftables. First one was apple pie. This, and this is going to be set apple pie. This is get apple pie, and the last one is for my what's it called, fruit cocktail. And by the way, this is case sensitive, so you have to make sure that you follow that case that you have defined earlier. And this is also going to be fruit cocktail. Okay, so this is done. I don't know why this is giving an error, but well, let's go with this. And now what I want to do is actually use this inventory attribute inside of my base character and link this up to my ability system component. So first what I'm going to do, like my base attribute set component, I'm going to define one variable for my inventory attribute. So I'm going to just copy this, paste this over here, and I'm going to rename this and I change this class. This is whole going to be changed, so I'm going to say U inventory attribute set pointer, and this is going to be called inventory attribute comp, Okay, and I also need to forward declare this class over here. So it's going to use inventory attribute set. Okay, and I've defined this over here. Next, what I want to do is link this up to my every system component. So first of all, I need my header file for this also. This hash include going to be inventory attribute set, and over here inside of my begin play, what I'm going to do is do this same thing, but instead of get set, I'm going to use add set. Actually, I'm going to say inventory attribute set component is equal to ability system component and pointer add set. This is a template, so I'm going to say u inventory attribute set, and this is it. And I'm also going to change this to add set because get set is used for a single attribute set. So this is done. Don't worry, we're going to cover the C++ explanation in the next video, so that those that don't want to follow the C++ can simply skip this video and move on to the tutorial. So I think everything's done. Let's go ahead and try to compile this, and we're going to return to the video once the compilation is done. Okay, so it looks like I forgot a few header files inside of my inventory attribute set cpp file. So just below this inventory attribute set.h, I'm going to include a few header files. So it's going to be gameplay effect.h effect, and other one is going to be gameplay effect extension .h. This one extension, yes, this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to compile this again. Okay, so the compilation has completed. Let's go ahead back to our engine, and over here what I want to do is create a new folder for this. We call this gas for game playability system, and inside of it I'm going to create a new folder. It's going to be initial data tables rather. Okay, and over here I'm going to say GA classes, and a new folder called GE classes, and another folder called actors. Okay, for the data table, what I want to do is I'm going to use this third-person blueprint as my gameplay character. You can follow that with base character and player character, enemy character for your game, but just to keep this simple, I'm going to use this because this is already set up with the camera and the mesh and the animation and all this stuff. And just what I want to change over here is go to your class settings, and parent class should be base character, this one. Okay, and now we have this application system component over here, and we should have our base attribute set, this one, and we have our inventory our inventory, this one. Okay, so we have these over here. This is set up third-person character. This is already present over here. I'm going to use this as the example, and now we are going to start by creating some initial data values for our attribute sets. Okay, so first one is going to be for my base attribute set, and I'm going to say create a data table. I'm going to save this inside of our gas data table folder. I'm going to call this base attribute, and this is going to be of the type attribute metadata. Okay, open this up, and I'm going to add an item for this, and this is going to be, if you remember correctly, first this has to be like base attribute set dot health, and I'm going to skip this over once I have completed it because this has been already covered in a previous video. Okay, so I have finished populating this table for the base attribute. Save this and go back to our third person character, select the stability system component, and over this default starting table I'm going to actually add another starting table for my inventory attribute set. Create a new table for this. This one is data table stored over the data table folder, and call this inventory attribute. Okay, and this is going to be of the type attribute metadata. Open this up, and I'm going to add the inventory, and this is going to follow the same pattern. First the class name, so it's going to inventory attribute set dot, first one is going to be apple, and I'm going to duplicate this one is going to be orange, duplicate this, and this one is going to be pineapple, and duplicate this. Now our craftable items, this is going to be apple pie. Okay, and duplicate this, and this one is going to be fruit cocktail. Okay, so we set the space value to 0, and min and max is going to be 99. And now this is not fully supported feature as of yet at the time of recording, but they say that this is going to be integrated with the ability system component in the future versions of the engine. So yeah, it's better to have this prepared like this. Okay, so this is done. Compile and save this, close this up, and now we want to create some visual actors that we can use for our pickable items that correctly can overlap, and then acquire those items inside of its inventory. So inside of the actor class, I'm going to create a new actor, and this is going to type actor, and this is going to be pp underscore inventory and parent. So this is going to act as our base class, and then we can modify the cosmetics according to, like apple is going to have a different, pineapple and orange, so on. So we're going to add a component is going to be static mesh. So I'm going to say display mesh. Okay, and I'm going to add a capsule collision, and this is going to act as my root. This one is not going to have any collisions, no collision, and this one is going to be overlap of dynamics. And what I'm going to do is, inside of the construction script, I'm going to create some functionality to change this. I'm going to say set static mesh. It's going to be like this, and new mesh is going to be a variable. From a variable, I'm going to say this mesh. This is going to be public, so we can change this on per instance basis. And inside of the event class graph, I don't need this. I want to add an event for my begin overlap. Okay, and over here I'm saying from the other actor get ability system component and is valid. So if this is valid, what I want to do is, okay, so drag out from here, apply gameplay effect to self, and I am going to promote this to a variable. I'm going to say GE class, and I am going to make this public, and I also want this level. We're going to discuss why we're going to use this level, and I'm going to change this to amount. Okay, and this is also going to be public. Compile and save this. So video is getting pretty long by now, so we're going to continue with this setup in the next video, and a little bit of C++ explanation in the next video. So this is it for this video. Thank you very much.